Hey guys, this is John. I'm playing Grandmaster Danya, who I think is Daniel Naroditsky. Very strong American Grandmaster. He is the Samford winner, I believe. I'm going to play a funky move here. I'm going to go h5. This move might be totally unsound, but let's see what to do. Okay, I'm doing something I would not normally do. I'm going to sack the exchange on h4. This could be fun. But yeah, this is Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky from California, who I think is probably FIDE 26, 20, or 30, I want to say. He's up there. He's a really good player. And I played him in a tournament in Las Vegas in October of this year. So just like a couple months ago. And it was a draw. I was white in that game. It was a Samish Kings Indian. Really interesting game. And he ended up making the Final Four. This was the Millionaire Chess Open in Las Vegas. And in this tournament, it had a format where the top 4 players after 8 rounds qualify to play like a round robin between each other for big money. And he was one of the 4 finalists. And he didn't make it further than that. The tournament, that mini round robin was eventually won by Wesley So. But he played very impressive the whole event, and he's clearly on the rise. And his blitz rating is just massive too, by the way. What is this flag? Why does he have that? Papua New Guinea. Daniel, I'm pretty sure you're not from Papua New Guinea. Yeah, Daniel Naroditsky. FIDE 2601, USCF 2680. He's a very nice guy too, and he writes some awesome articles for chess.com. I suggest you take a look at them if you haven't seen them. I have him thinking here in this position. So this experimental sacrifice on h4 is not leading to a great position for me, but it's a position of sorts. Did I miss queen e5 followed by queen takes h2? Oh, he has rook h1 after that, so probably good I don't do that. I can't develop too well here yet. Queen e5. Queen e5 he can just block like with his queen. Yeah, I can't really take that pawn on h2 favorably. Bishop b4, maybe. Knight e5. Okay, I'm gonna go here. And I suppose just develop, like bishop e7. Not too proud of this position, but maybe I can whip something up. We'll see. I guess I'll castle. Let's go bishop f5 instead. This was highly experimental, to say the least. Let's see. What is he threatening? Stuff. Just take this knight. I'll probably take with a pawn, huh? Well, if he takes with the pawn, I get knight e5 in. So maybe that's some play. Just FYI, if I play you over the board and we play a Scandinavian and you choose the g3 line, I'm not going to repeat this line. I'm not going to play h5 and then sack the exchange. Maybe Nakamura can get away with that, but I am not Nakamura, so under normal circumstances I would have no business doing this. You know, this position is probably okay for me. I'm not better by any means. I probably don't even have compensation because I am down 2 points of material, but the salient factors here are the fact that my pawn structure is really solid. He has a couple weaknesses. He's got the h2 and f2 pawns isolated. And I think the structure is well suited to knights. And I have 2 knights and he has no knights. I think it's well suited to knights because it's very compact and I like I said, I don't have that many weak points. So I think my knights will kind of huddle around and maybe later, if the queens get exchanged, jump around and create threats. Okay, he might be setting up some nastiness. Some sacrifices, possibly on g6. So I should probably play some reinforcing move. But, no, let's just go rook h8. I'm going to be principled. If he wants to sack on g6, he can do that. f4, that seems weakening. Seems kind of weakening. Let's just move our king back. I kind of want to bring my king over to the queen side, like kind of castle by hand almost. Okay, should this knight go here? Should it go to g7? Probably should go to f6. It'd be kind of cool to put it on f5, but I worry about stuff. Let's go here. f4 could be weak. Now queen c7 or queen d4 is an option. The name of the game is just keeping everything defended for me. And I'm going to probe him. And I got to play faster. This guy's also really good at bullet too, so I don't want to get into like a, I don't know, 10-second battle with him towards the end of the game. Let's try to avoid that fate. All right. Just put the queen on c7, or king on c7 for now. Castle by hand. I think I'll put this another pawn on a light square too. Just put a stop to his play. Queen d6. Expecting d4, yeah. Now maybe here and try to go queen h8. I wish my knights were a little more active. Wish I could reroute them somewhere. Like maybe knight e4 now? Ooh, better not do that yet. Let's reroute this one. I'm going to put it on d6 and give it options. I know he's going to be itching to try to find something to attack. He kind of has to. Otherwise, he's just moving his pieces around without a plan. He's going to put his queen on e5. I don't want that. Let's defend that square. Maybe I'll play rook here next. I'm threatening rook takes h2. Aha. Let's take that pawn. Can I do that? Yeah, let's do it. Rook g2. I go here.
Check.
Here. d5, wow. I don't think that works. I'm covering the b6 square. Now a5 is weak. No, we don't take that yet. Let's go here. I can try to harvest all his pawns. Let's just get these guys off the board. Let's do this. Okay, let's go here. Like I said, I don't really want to get into a mouse moving battle with him.
Check.
He's very quick, though. Very, very quick. My knights are going to have to protect each other now.
Check. Check. Check.
Let's do this.
check,
Wow, this is like crazy pawn pushing action now. Okay, I think let's do this.
check, check,
Hmm. He's gonna go for the win. Rook c2. Let's go here. Now he's got to be very careful where he puts his rook.
time warning, check,
Very careful where he puts that rook.
check,
Okay, I think I'm winning now. Though he can come around and attack my knight, can't he? But, yeah, just move away. Okay, can I mate him in this amount of time?
check,
Okay.
checkmate,
Alright, sweet. I got the checkmate off. That game was 109 moves. Wow. Okay, that was pretty fun. Overall impressions of that game. I was definitely worse after I made the sacrifice. I mean, that's not a sacrifice you make thinking that you're going to be better after making it. So I was definitely worse after that happened, but I think maybe his mistake was somehow he didn't disrupt my pawn structure enough. That was the name of the game, pawn structure. So normal here would just be like knight f6 and then c6 and maybe bishop g4 or bishop f5. I played a lot of permutations of this. There's also some cool ideas, like one idea is bishop d7 here, anticipating that white wants to go bishop g2 and then try to exchange the bishops. So h5 is just a really off-the-wall idea. So I go here and sack the exchange. So yeah, let's pay attention to the pawn structure a lot in this one, because I think that's important. Here I avoided the trade, put the bishop on h3. Maybe queen f5 was a decent move too. Let's say queen f5, he takes, I take with the knight, hit f2. I hope eventually I can recover the h-pawn, and he'll be stuck with the bad pawns as he was in the game. But I like the way he developed. Yeah, and here, I didn't see this when he played rook g1, but I could go check and then try to grab this pawn, but he must have anticipated that rook h1 was possible. And there's a problem with my bishop hanging. So I just played e6, then he went here. And again, I can't really do queen e5. Bishop b4 would be the real normal move here, which seems great because it pins him. If he castles, I can perhaps take on c3 and grab a2, but I was worried about this as a reply. And if I take with the knight, I think I just lose this pawn, unless I have some sort of tactical trick, but I don't see anything off the top of my head. And if I play g takes, then he has a pass pawn here, and also rook g8 is available. He can probably just throw that in, force me to play a passive move like knight f8. So I really didn't want that to happen. So I somewhat begrudgingly played g6. He castled, I went here, king b1. Now he's ready to move this knight away. He didn't want to do it on the previous move because his a2 pawn would be hanging wherever he moves his knight. So this happened. I brought my bishop back. I think bishop takes e4 might have surprised him a little bit. Otherwise, I love h5, because that's a move that's just trying to give the pawn back, but like really disrupt my position in the process. Like say I take with a knight, Then take. Bishop takes here. I'm sure is like essentially just winning for white.
Check.
Check. Yeah, my position's in shambles. So bishop takes e4 though. He took with his bishop, and that allowed me to take here. The problem is though, if he takes with his pawn, I think knight e5 is not so bad. Because I'm attacking his bishop. And if this bishop moves, maybe knight takes e4 is possible. Like say he goes here guarding the c4 square, then I have that move. But I wonder if in this position he could play, let's say h takes g6, and then if knight takes f3, no, that's not good, never mind. I was thinking somehow this might be okay, but he can't check me anywhere on the d file. So knight e5. Maybe take here first. Take and then take here. Okay, this is a better option. Because now if I take, I just get mated.
Check.
Check, and then queen takes f7.
Checkmate.
So that's no good. Yeah, bishop takes g5 is probably just really strong. Although, ooh, there's threats on b2. Huh. I can almost play like, well, this is not really close to working, but queen takes b2 and then knight c4 double check. But he's going to be fine just going to b1 or b3. It's very sharp. I'm going to bet that's the best line, though. Let's just check with the engine. Yeah, d takes e4, and if knight e5, queen f4. Okay, queen f4 hitting both knights and defending his bishop. What about that line I was saying? Take, and then take here. Yeah, that also looks good. Plus 3.5 and climbing. Yeah, so my position was somewhat busted here. When he does this, might not be so bad for black. Yeah, and that trade helps me. I was extolling the virtues of my pawn structure and my knight pair. But yet it's still plus 2.3 something for white. Turn the engine off. And yeah, I think the big problem for him here is just it's hard for him to generate threats and really break my pawn structure. He needs to make a pawn breakthrough. I don't think he can win this position just with his material superiority. He's got to make a pawn break somewhere. Otherwise, I'm too solid. Like, I've got 2 weak points, basically. f7, b7, kind of a7, too. And maybe my dark squares are a little weak, because I'm setting up so many of my pawns on light squares in opposition to his light square bishop. But other than that, black has a real strong position. And targets to attack, too. His pawn's on the king side. I didn't see anything obvious that either of us missed in this stage. He was just looking for play. I was creating threats against his pawns. a6. So now I've got all my pawns arranged on light squares. This is really nice in playing against his light square bishop. No scope for that bishop. Here I was playing around, like trying to find the best use for the queen. Now I tried to find a better route for my knight. Because at the moment, these knights are a little superfluous. Superfluous pieces are pieces that are taking away each other's squares. And with knights, this is a common problem. Like, both knights would be much better off if they could go to different squares or occupy like different outposts. But like this knight on d7, for instance, doesn't have much to do if it can't go to f6. So here we would say that the d7 knight is the superfluous knight. It doesn't add any value to black's position at present, other than maybe keeping track of some squares like e5, c5, b6. So by playing this knight e8 to d6 maneuver, I'm hoping to make these knights work better in tandem. Control more squares, not reproducing any square control. But he reacted well. He played this move, reminding me that, you know, since I don't have my knight on d7 anymore, queen e5 could be a concern. I guess I could have played knight g4 here, though. I think I went back to d7, didn't I? Yeah. But I guess I could have played knight g4. So I went here. In a time scramble situation, I think this is a lot easier to play for black. Again, because of the compactness issue. I have a more compact structure, he doesn't.
Check.
And as long as I keep my bases guarded, I can play moves that don't do so much, but are still strong because it's easy for me to make such moves. Yeah, and then d5 looks like kind of desperate, to be honest. I don't know if he played that intending his queen to get to a7 or what, but just looks like he's giving away a pawn. I took with the queen, attacking his bishop, also attacking a5. Then I got this capture in. So now, I bet I'm just better at this point. Yeah, went from a white edge earlier to now a significant black edge. Let's see this moment. Yeah, d5 was not good. Still likes him if he plays c4. You guys see why c4 is strong? That's a move intending a breakthrough. Like, he's preparing d5 if he can get it in. It'll still be hard to get in because I'm defending that square 1, 2, 3 times. But that's the type of thing he's going to need to really break down my defenses at this point. And here I went queen d5. Just to simplify, also strengthen my structure a bit when he captures. I think this ending is winnable for black, definitely. I have to take my time and be careful how I advance my pawns. But, yeah, I mean, material-wise, I have 1 point more of material than him. 3 extra pawns compared to him. So those should be a factor at some point. I'll just leave the engine on because a lot, like half this game, more than half this game was played when I had less than a minute on the clock. So we went over 100 moves, and right now, when did I get less than a minute on my clock? Starting here, move 44. And him too, I mean, he's, for all intents and purposes, is basically a minute left. So I don't want to analyze this stage too seriously, although it did get interesting at the end. I was just trying to play decent moves. He was pestering me with his rook.
Check.
I was trying to make some progress too. Here I could have tried to like sell out and I don't know, keep the battle localized to the center and the king side by taking his c3 pawn. But then he eliminates a5 and I think his chances of drawing this have just improved, or even winning, if I'm not careful. It's too bad I almost have a mating net of some kind. It feels like I might have something like that, but this king has too many squares. So I went here, keeping the pawn. And he did that. Oh, I guess that should lose on the spot. Yeah, I didn't see f6. Take, and then this move.
Check.
Just picking up his rook. Okay, so that would have been a good way to end it. I went here, take.
Check.
Here.
Check. Check.
I'm sure lots of mistakes were made at this stage by both of us.
Check.
g5. Now I was like, woohoo, I've got another pass pawn. I guess he should have taken on g5. Okay, what did I miss around here? Because I thought I was dead winning at this point. Because, like, if he takes this one, then I just push. And, yeah, he can't go to b1 because I have knight c3 check. And if he goes here, I have knight g5. Just blocking his rook and winning. But I see that the engine still thinks I'm essentially winning after king takes e4, and I wonder why. I'm going to turn it off and try to figure it out. So g2, rook g8. What did I miss here? Because that eval it was giving was really favorable for black. What did I miss? I think I have to move my knight. I don't see any point in g1 queen. Maybe it just thinks I'm winning after knight c3 check? Don't know. Knight c3, king d3. Huh. It's not obvious to me why this is like just flat out winning. Turn the engine back on.
Check.
That's what I did. Knight c3, king d3, king b3,
check,
check. Oh, I had the really nice move, knight b5 at this point. And if he takes,
check.
I go king a2, and this pawn queens. So he would have to go back to g8, but then I get a3 in. Okay, so the engine just must think that I'm just
check.
winning this ending because of my a pawn, basically. So a3, he goes here. Yeah, knight d5. This is a good square for the knight. It's close enough to the pawn that it can assist, and also it threatens knight b4. So he went here, I go a2. Yep,
Check.
and now check. Okay, knight c2 would have won. Knight c... Oh, okay, because I can bring the knight to a3. Gotcha. So if he goes after my pawn, intending to sacrifice his rook, he doesn't get a chance because I play knight a3 and queen. Gotcha. So I went here, and now he can hold with king c4, according to the computer. King c4 here. Could he just sack his... No, he probably couldn't sacrifice the rook yet.
Check.
He's going to run into the same problem. My knight can give a check and then come to g4 and hold the pawn. But he can do rook b8.
Check.
Okay. King c1, and now rook a8. And if I queen at this point, now my knight's too far. It can't help me defend this pawn. Aha. So subtlety with both of our flags hanging. Yeah, he's not going to play king c4, though. That'd be impressive if he did. And he can still draw this, rook b8.
Check.
He just sacked immediately. Yeah, so he should play rook b8 in order to draw my knight a square further when I eventually try to promote. That's instructive. Yeah, because I hide my king, say here. There's no point in playing king b1 or king b2. He'll just give me a check again. And I either have to go back to c1 or step in front of the pawn. So I would have to promote, and just like that last line we looked at, he gets close enough to the pawn, he'll just win it. It's just a draw. My knight will come back and have to sacrifice itself for his f-pawn. Aha! What was our time situation like at this point?
Check.
Okay, so we're very even on time, but fortunately I have this knight g4 idea. And it takes him too many tempos to get over to h5. By the time he does that, I can just reposition my knight, and then he'll go back and attack the pawn. Like if he had played king g6 here, I could just go knight here and hold. Yep, so now I'm just able to win the pawn. And fortunately I was able to do the checkmate. It was actually kind of helpful that he took the knight. Because maybe like having the knight could have led to a disaster that happened the other day when I like stalemated the dude when I was up queen, rook, and bishop at the end.
Check.
Oh, and this technique I used, by the way, I moved my king around for some pointless reason. But once I got on the right track, I think the easiest way to do this checkmate, especially in time pressure, with king and queen versus king, is to keep the queen a knight's move away from the opposing king. Knights move away from the opposing king. The idea is you're just going to make this box that the king is confined to smaller and smaller by always keeping the queen that distance from white's king. So he went here, I go here. And the queen is strong enough on its own that it can corral the enemy king. And if you do that, just slowly take away the squares, then you can bring your king up when the other king has been confined to just like 2 squares to go to. So he did this now. If he had played king c8, I would go here. He'd go here, I'd go here. He goes here, and I don't want to go queen c7 stalemate, but now I could just bring my king over like I did and checkmate. So if you're ever in a time scramble situation and want to mate easily with king and queen versus king, do this. Because trying to combine your king and queen, although that's obviously an easy win too, increases the likelihood of a stalemate in time pressure. So here, now I've got him in the position, I can just bring my king over. And I had just enough time to do it, fortunately.
Checkmate.
So 109 moves. Crazy, especially considering that when we both had roughly a minute, it was like move 40-something. So lots of moves reeled off there at the end. All right. That was a fun game. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. And please leave me any feedback in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later.